form called the Mass Material Safety Data Sheet, or an MSDS. All employers have different systems in place to assure that their employees have access to the MSDS forms and the ERTK. Please be sure to check with your employer on their system. This is an example of a material safety data sheet, which is required by OSHA. Your organizations may look a little different, but they are required to have an MSDS on all hazardous chemicals and products. The MSDS will include product identification, the hazardous ingredients it contains, physical data, fire and explosion hazard data, health hazards in using these products, emergency first aid, reactivity data, spill and disposal procedures, safe handling and use information, as well as any special precautions. Please become familiar with your MSDS procedures in your organization. As this module comes to a close, I would like to share a few common sense practices for all employees. Good work practices reduce the risk of exposure to contaminated substances that minimizes your risk of infection or disease. It is your responsibility as a caregiver and an employee to use good infection control practices in order to reduce your own personal risk and to protect your clients as well. Anytime it's possible, direct your client to provide for his own first aid. Never use a spray nozzle when cleaning a contaminated area, whether it be in the shower or the kitchen area of your building. This can cause splatter and a greater chance for you to become infected. And as I have mentioned so many times in this training, wash your hands, wash your hands, wash your hands. Be sure to follow your company's procedure for handling sharps. It is so important for you to take good care of yourself. It is not good practice to eat or drink or apply lipstick or chapstick in any area where you may be exposed to infection or contaminated substances. It's also important that you follow your organization's procedures for disposing of contaminated waste and report all exposures to your supervisor immediately. If you become exposed to potentially contaminated material, you need to report that to your supervisor immediately. After the incident is reported, your organization must make available a confidential medical evaluation. This evaluation will include documentation of what happened during the incident, the HIV and HBV status of the source of infection, any blood testing that is needed and will be done as soon as possible. You will be offered a post-exposure vaccination and the medical evaluation of the reported event. You will also be entitled to counseling. Remember that only you, the exposed employee, will be given the results of any medical evaluations and testing. A final word about OSHA and infection control. Please take this training seriously. Caregivers who are exposed to blood-borne pathogens must be trained. Blood-borne pathogen regulations attempt to limit occupational exposure to blood and other potentially infectious materials. By limiting your exposure, this helps you minimize the risk from blood-borne pathogens that can lead to disease. Remember that hand washing is the key, and if in doubt, wash, wash, wash your hands. And please, take good care of yourselves. I want to thank you for your time and attention today. We have covered good information about OSHA standards and requirements and infection control practices. If you have any questions about this information, please ask your supervisor. And now when you are ready, please take the knowledge assessment that follows this module. And as always, I wish you the very best in your practice.